Right now at 6, the Greenway opens with controversy as Pittsburgh debates mixing families and alcohol sales.
And we've got some patchy fog, cloudy skies out there, and more rain chances later tonight. Details coming up.
Plus, experts stress the role of safe driving for teens during the 100 deadliest days.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday. It's May the 28th. And what is it? We only got 2 or 3 more days left of the month of May. And it's going to be rolling into June. And something mentioned yesterday, hopefully it holds true, but June looking to be at or maybe even a bit below average with our temperatures, which will be nice. As long as it's mild, so it's not cold, that's fine. If June was cold, then we'd have some concerns.
Right.
But thankfully, nothing quite like that. But we do have some concerns this morning with some patchy fog out there. Now, as you can see, our camera downtown Pittsburgh can't really see anything from there. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Now, some of that haze you're seeing is just from the lens being a little bit on the dirty side. But again, not looking at too terribly dense fog in the Joplin area either. But we do have some reduced visibilities. Iola, you've come back down now, under 2 miles. And Yates Center, you're just under 3. So right now, the only places with fairly decent, actually now the only place with good visibility is Fort Scott. Bentonville, Independence, you've dropped in visibilities as well. So everybody else, visibilities are reduced in some fashion out there. So again, if you're traveling, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them, slow down, leave distance between you and the car ahead of you. And then the other thing with all the rain, all the moisture out there, do be careful, especially in lower lying areas, for where you might come across just sudden, zero visibility conditions where you might have decent view and then all of a sudden it drops. So be prepared for that as well. Just drive carefully this morning. We do have a chance for some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Right now, the only concern is an isolated risk for some gusty winds. We're talking 50, 60 miles an hour, but nonetheless, that concern is there. Most of today, we are mostly cloudy. Could even get some partly cloudy skies here or there. And then by about 4 o'clock or so, we'll start seeing some showers working into our western counties, and then for a little while they'll just kind of sit around the 54 corridor, and overnight tonight we'll get a complex of storms is the expectation from the west that'll end up pushing these on through, and that's when we'll start to see the opportunity for a strong storm or two. Temperatures this morning not too bad. 58 in Joplin, 59 in Pittsburgh. We've got mid to upper 50s across most of the area. Do have some 54s. We've got some cool spots. Nowata though, the cold spot at 52 this morning. I got a couple of 60s, Miami and Bentonville. So again, overall, temperature-wise, at least not a bad start to the day. Mostly cloudy skies. Again, maybe a moment of partly cloudy skies. Fog should burn off 8, 9 o'clock at the latest. We'll start to see those gradually increasing shower and thunderstorm chances later this evening with a northwest breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll talk more about those thunderstorm chances late tonight into tomorrow and how our weekend is shaping up, whether or not you're going to be able to get outside or not, here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. An arrest warrant has been issued for Knoll, Missouri marshal in connection with a fatal hit and run. The charge of felony perjury against Rhonda Wise follows an investigation by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. According to that investigation, Wise stated in a probable cause affidavit that she found a suspect vehicle in a fatal hit and run in Knoll, Missouri by cross-referencing the serial number on a taillight lens. MHP investigations, however, revealed the lens only displayed specific letters, not a serial number, which matched a variety of vehicles. The discrepancy resulted in charges and an arrest, though a follow-up conducted by the McDonald County prosecutor led to the charges being dropped and the release of the suspect. Wise is not currently in custody. You can find more information on the history of this case on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, yesterday we brought you the report of an inmate who broke out of a Calico Rock prison Sunday afternoon. He's the former police chief of a town, Gateway, in Arkansas, but was serving a 30-year sentence for murder and a separate sentence for rape. Officials warned that Grant Hardin is a threat to the public. Lakira Banks reports.
He's a sociopath. Prison's not full of people who are all bad. It's full of a lot of people who just do bad things. Grant's different.
Grant Harden was sentenced to a combined 50 years for the 2017 murder of James Appleton in Gateway and the rape of a teacher inside a Rogers school in 1997.
He's extremely dangerous. He's already proven that he has no moral core or center that would prevent him from doing anything.
Prior to the crimes, Harden worked for at least 4 separate law enforcement agencies, including the Fayetteville Police Department, the Huntsville Police Department, and the Eureka Springs Police Department. Officials there told 4029 News he was fired for excessive force in making poor decisions on the job. Harden also served as constable for Benton County from 2008 to 2012. Harden studied criminal justice and law enforcement at Missouri Southern State University in 2016 and 2017. Around that time, Harden also briefly worked for the Northwest Arkansas Community Corrections Center. In 2017, Harden shot and killed James Appleton. Then, in 2018, Rogers police used DNA evidence to link him to the rape. Nathan Smith was prosecutor at the time.
So it makes it even more shocking when a person who wears the badge would betray not only victims, but his community's sense of right and wrong, which obviously it doesn't appear he believes in.
Smith says Harden's actions have stripped the victim and their families of closure.
And the real thing that bothers me about it is that by pleading guilty, those pleas brought closure for the victims and their families, all right? And so by doing what he's done, that reopens those wounds for them.
Well, investigators say Harden was wearing clothes made to look like law enforcement when he escaped. The owner of a new downtown outdoor venue invited Pittsburgh City Commissioners to clear up concerns over alcohol sales and minors in attendance. The Greenway at 2nd and Broadway opened earlier this month. It's designed as a family-friendly outdoor food truck court and beer garden. The property owners also have an indoor bar connected to the Greenway called the Biles Brothers. But during the May 13th City Commission meeting, another business owner expressed concerns regarding a new ordinance permitting all-age access to the new venue. The exemption allows minors onto premises that are used as an outdoor entertainment and recreation area. Now, under the new rules, alcohol purchased in the indoor bar cannot be taken outside. Alcohol purchased outside cannot be taken inside. Also, anyone under the age of 21 will not be allowed to enter the Biles Brothers bar. Pittsburgh City Manager Darren Hall says he understands the concerns and a deeper analysis of the city's liquor laws is underway.
Currently, we have somebody reviewing all of our liquor licenses and CMB licenses the city's operating under. And yeah, we plan on going back and giving the commission a report on that when we're finalized.
The Greenway plans to open Thursday through Saturday evenings, weather permitting. In recent years, the city of Pittsburgh added a similar exemption allowing minors and alcohol sales for the Main Street Axe Company. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Missouri-Kansas Highway Patrols released their reports on fatal crashes they worked over the Memorial Day weekend. In Kansas, troopers report 7 fatalities from 4 crashes. In Missouri, the Highway Patrol reported a total of 3 people killed in crashes over the weekend. The counting period ran from 6 p.m. Friday until just before midnight Monday night. Well, as Memorial Day passes, we officially enter the 100 deadliest days of summer. Now, it's the time frame where fatal car accidents, especially involving teen drivers, are the most likely to happen. According to AAA, nationwide, more than 7,000 people died in teen driver-related summer crashes from 2013 to 2022. In 2023, there were 97 total crash deaths in Missouri alone with teen drivers involved. Experts say as more teens begin to take to the roads, it's important to stay aware and keep safety in mind.
We get a lot of local wrecks. Before this, I was a fireman here in town and was firsthand seeing a lot of the wrecks, and especially this time of year when people are over the road and drinking was involved.
Well, experts with AAA recommend parents work out a driving agreement outlining who is allowed in their car, where and when they can drive. Well, the Pittsburgh School District is expressing condolences and offering counseling following the death of a student in a car pedestrian accident. USD 250 yesterday sent an email to families and staff concerning the death of Jordan Baldwin, a fifth grader at Westside Elementary. Jordan died yesterday from injuries suffered in a crash on 4th Street last week. The district says counseling and support are available. The email says, in part, Jordan was a cherished and important member of our school family. He will be deeply missed by all who knew him. As we come together to grieve, we ask for your compassion, sensitivity, and support for the family. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, United Airlines is changing its check-in policy, making passengers get to the airport earlier than before. Plus, the battle between the Trump administration and Harvard University continues as the State Department pauses new student visas worldwide. And we have a mild and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look at the Jesse James Days in Pineville, Missouri. Topping Nation Watch, passengers who like to fly United will have to arrive at the airport earlier than before. The airline wants passengers checked in 45 minutes before a domestic flight takes off. Previously, passengers without checked bags could arrive 30 minutes before departure. Now, this new policy will take effect June 3rd. The new check-in policy will align with the airline's checked baggage deadline. That is also 45 minutes before a plane takes off. This morning, new developments in the White House's ongoing clash with Harvard University. The Trump administration has directed agencies to end around $100 million in remaining contracts with the university. The State Department is also now confirming a memo directing embassies around the world to pause new student visa interviews. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Every student's welcome here.
Protests at Harvard University as the Trump administration's battle with the institution intensifies, ordering federal agencies to review all remaining contracts with Harvard for termination or transition. The White House has already frozen over $3 billion in federal research grants and contracts. Last Friday, a federal judge temporarily blocked the administration from banning foreign students from enrollment at the university.
We, as international students in Harvard, in the U.S., we are not enemies of the U.S.
The White House has accused Harvard of discriminatory hiring practices and of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism on campus.
Everybody knows they're anti-Semitic, and that's got to stop immediately.
On NPR Tuesday, Harvard's president said the university has made real progress dealing with anti-Semitism and added, quote, "We need to be firm in our commitments to what we stand for."
We're losing students, we're losing researchers.
Political science professor Ryan Enos says the cuts are already being felt and that the White House's actions go well beyond Harvard.
This is a question of democracy and the rule of law in the United States.
The Trump-Harvard escalation comes as the State Department confirms a cable ordering U.S. embassies around the world to pause scheduling new student visa appointments as the administration moves to expand social media screening and vetting of new applicants. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Tomorrow, lawyers for the Trump administration and Harvard University are due back in court before the federal judge who temporarily blocked the White House from banning foreign students at Harvard. The hearing is scheduled on the same day Harvard will hold its commencement ceremonies. And still to come, a new study shows that maternal mental health in the U.S. is rapidly declining. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, an 8th grader in Iowa City is reeling after he caught a massive catfish that weighed nearly 70 pounds. As Kaylee Whitlatch reports, he brought the big fish to shore all by himself.
It's a monster. 14-year-old Benjamin Stong's video showing off the flathead catfish he says weighs in at just under 70 pounds.
I have a sister about that size. It's like crazy.
He says he's been going fishing before he goes to school, riding his bike about 30 minutes to his spot by the Burlington Street Dam to cast a line in the Iowa River while beating the crowds and the evening heat.
Getting out in the morning, and fishing in the same spot over and over, I can expect to catch something big, but a fish that size only gets caught 10 to 15 times a year.
Stong says he got some advice from an Iowa fisherman who makes YouTube videos, and that Wednesday after they met, those words of wisdom led him to his biggest catch yet.
The biggest flathead before that was 5 pounds that I caught. I've seen videos and pictures of people catching big catfish, but I've never tried really hard to put the image of how big that would really look. When I weighed it, I started freaking out, and then it wasn't until when I got home and did some searching that I realized how rare a fish is that's that big.
He says he didn't have a net, but that didn't stop him from bringing the fish ashore. Now it's back in the river for the next brave fisher to find.
It's just like a fisherman's dream, and I guess I came at the right time, right conditions, and you do it enough, it's inevitable.
The Iowa Department of Natural Resources reports the largest flathead catfish caught in the state weighed 81 pounds. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we do have some patchy fog out there across the region. Otherwise, we've got mostly cloudy skies, more storm chances as we head into tonight, the latest when we come back. Okay, hi, welcome back. How you doing? This every so often happens where I put this in what I think is the right place and it wasn't, but that's okay. We got it, and here we are. This is, of course, a live look MoDOT camera, 32nd and Rangeline Joplin. A little bit hazy, a little bit foggy off in the distance out there, and we do have patchy fog across the region. We have some dense fog, though, stretching from parts of Washington County around Bartlesville to the south and east near Newada and southwest of Veneta, and then we've got some reduced visibilities just over a mile in Iola. Just about everyone, with the exception of Fort Scottsdale, has reduced visibilities to some degree this morning. So again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you have them. Give yourself time to get where you're going, and of course with all the rain, the moisture, and everything that we have hanging around, watch out, especially in low-lying areas. You could run into areas where your visibility just suddenly drops. So make sure you're going slow and that you are prepared for that this morning. Now overnight tonight, we do have the chance of thunderstorms, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe, with wind being the primary concern. Into our western counties here, it's the only risk area we have highlighted is that isolated wind risk. So at this point, we're talking 50, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts with any stronger storms that we may see. Most of today, we are mostly cloudy. Could have some moments of partly cloudy skies, and outside of that, it's just going to be a hair warmer. Then by about 4 o'clock, we start to see some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder working into our western counties. And then they kind of just get stuck along the 54 corridor for a little while by the late evening hours. It'll be after midnight, and we'll have a complex of storms that'll kind of collide with what we've got already in place here and start pushing it off to the southeast and east. And as we go between, let's say, roughly midnight and 7 a.m., that's going to be our window for possibly a strong or low-grade severe thunderstorm. So we certainly do want to keep an eye out on that. I'm not expecting anything widespread severe, but still a strong storm possible. By 5 o'clock, they're right along the Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma and Missouri borders and points to the west, so the 69 corridor and west. By 9 a.m., this activity starts to shift to the east, and now it's east of I-49. However, as we go through the morning, while we could still, yes, have some thunderstorms, that risk of strong to severe thunderstorms begins to drop significantly, and then some of us even get a break in the rain, not in the clouds. Cloud cover is going to stick around, does keep us a little cooler tomorrow. And then we could see one more round of showers and storms by the evening on Friday. And then that should clear out, Thursday. And then that should clear out by about 8, 9 o'clock. Our Friday, just a few clouds here and there, so mostly clear skies for us. And temperatures much warmer as well. Still a bit below normal, but a lot closer to normal than where we have been the last few days. Our camera, 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, again, off in the distance, you can see there is some light fog, and that's what's being reported. So again, keep that in mind. Fog could stick around through 8, maybe 9 o'clock this morning at the latest, about 60 to start our day, mid-60s by 11 a.m. And as we roll into the afternoon hours, we'll eventually go into the low 70s. So again, a little warmer, should be 80 for our average. So at least they're a little closer to that. Mostly cloudy skies. Again, maybe some partly cloudy skies here and there. Shower storms gradually building in by about 4 or so in our western counties. As we go through the evening and overnight, still mostly cloudy, scattered storms. And as I mentioned, once we get past about midnight, those showers and storms will start rolling through, and we'll start to get them a little more widespread, falling back into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, scattered showers and storms. Again, cooler, upper 60s. And then we got the mid to upper 70s on Friday. Just a few clouds here and there. Again, remember, watch out for those pop-up storms Saturday afternoon into the early evening. Not expect anything widespread, but you still want to remember when thunder roars, head indoors. Outside of those pop-up storm chances, we got clear skies, temperatures warming back up, low to mid 80s, and we're keeping an eye on those thunderstorm chances by next Friday. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Lisa now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. So the symptoms of long COVID can differ for infants versus children ages 3 to 5. A study published in JAMA found infants and toddlers 2 years and younger are more likely to experience poor appetite, trouble sleeping, coughing, and stuffy nose. But kids ages 3 to 5 are more likely to experience daytime tiredness, low energy, and a dry cough. Doctors say there's still much we don't know about long COVID. And maternal mental health in the U.S. is getting worse. A study by Columbia University found the number of mothers who said they had excellent mental health dropped 12% between 2016 and 2023, and the number of mothers who said they have had fair or poor mental health rose more than 3%. The study notes this could be connected to a similar decline in physical health. Well, climate change could be causing more cases of cancer among women. A study in Frontiers found a small increase in breast, ovarian, uterine, and cervical cancer might be linked to the effects of climate change, including rising temperatures, worse food and water security, and poor air quality. The study authors say more access to cancer screenings could be a key factor in saving lives. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Freeman Health welcomes 30 new graduate nurses in a signing day ceremony.
And we've got some patchy fog, we've got the clouds, and we have more rain chances later today. Details coming up.
Plus, young artists get to express their creativity during a week-long art camp in Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Wednesday, May the 29th.
Yes.
Yes?
May the 28th.
8th. Yeah,
close enough.
It's somewhere. We're near the end of the month. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
then we'll have a whole new month of days to forget. So
I know. How about that?
It's June, and it's not been bad. I mean, we've had the rain, we've had the severe weather, but temperature-wise, things haven't been too bad out there. And you can see this isn't the MoDOT camera. This is our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Looking cloudy. You can see off in the distance some haze out there. MoDOT camera now, 32nd in range line. Cloudy skies, a little bit of fog off in the distance. That's what we've got. We've got that patchy fog out there. Some of it is dense in locations, especially around Iola, Yates Center along 54, and then 75 through Washington County around Bartlesville, stretching back down. And you can see where those darker colors are just to the southwest of Anita and the Wada out there as well. Everyone except Fort Scott is experiencing reduced visibilities in terms of the reporting station. So I know around the Fort Scott area you can see that we don't have any fog being reported there, but you still want to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Give time to get where you're going, and also watch out with all the rain, the moisture, and everything else that's out there, especially in the low-lying areas. You could have some decent visibilities and then suddenly they drop. So make sure you are driving safely. Now, as we head into the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, we could get a strong or low-grade severe storm, which could bring an isolated wind risk with it. So at this point, we're talking 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds out there. And that risk is, again, confined to the western counties. Also, it's not very high at this point. Hopefully, it remains that way. So here's what we've got. Most of today, mostly cloudy skies, maybe even moments of partly cloudy skies. Then by about 4 o'clock or so, showers initially, maybe a rumble of thunder, begin working in to our northwestern counties. We're talking Yates Center, Fredonia, near Chanute. And then as we roll through the evening, they kind of park themselves right along the 54 corridor from Nevada, possibly, maybe even as far east as Stockton, all the way back to the west toward the 8th Center. And they will stay there until a complex of storms that we're expecting later tonight from Kansas, from northwest of us, starts to roll through the area and push these storms on through. And it'll be after midnight, so roughly between midnight and 7 a.m. tomorrow is when we're going to have that window for a strong or low-grade severe thunderstorm. Sitting at 58 in Joplin right now and 59 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures across the area are, for the most part, mid to upper 50s. We do have 60 down in Bentonville, and we do have Newada, as it looks like the cold spot, at 53. So again, fairly mild and not that far from normal. 58, 59 is about where our average low should be for this time of year. So again, mostly cloudy skies for the day, maybe some partly cloudy skies here or there. Shower and thunderstorm chances gradually increasing later this evening and overnight. And we'll have that northwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. I'll talk more about the thunderstorms tonight and into tomorrow. And we'll show you how Friday and the rest of the weekend is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, firefighters in Independence, Kansas respond to a truck fire and found it fully engulfed in flames. Independence rural firefighters were able to quickly extinguish it. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office reports the occupants of the truck said they had experienced mechanical issues with the truck, and the fire started after the truck had stopped. Now, it was quite a sight, but no injuries were reported. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, springtime is in full bloom, bringing with it new life and the beauty of nature. Now, unfortunately, that's not all it brings. Bugs are making their seasonal return as well. Pest control companies across the 4 states are already reporting a spike in calls. The professionals say there are some common 6- and 8-legged pests to look out for this time of year. And yesterday, young artists set up their paints and canvases for a week-long art camp. Artform Gallery in Pittsburgh is hosting the event to give students a chance to express their creativity. An instructor says the camp provides a way for young artists to learn some real-world skills.
We need to help people, especially young people, become problem solvers and designers and creators and get those juices flowing, and to do something tactile, spend a little less time on the screen and some time doing something with your mind and your body. Just really important. I think it's just really healthy for kids to be involved in art.
Well, students in the camp range in age from 6 years old to 17. And it was signing day for 30 men and women who've chosen to help save lives at Freeman Health System. The graduate nurses were honored at the Ron Richard Athletic Center at Missouri Southern for completing 2 years of medical schooling. And while athletes sign letters of intent to play at the next level, these nurses are signaling their willingness to do everything in their power to comfort patients and save lives.
I am very appreciative of those around me and how hard they've worked to become nurses. So anybody that you went to school with, they all kind of become like sort of a fellowship to you. You all have what you went through in nursing school in common and your end goal.
Now, each graduate nurse honored last night will eventually take the national exam required to become registered nurses. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The U.S. Consumer Confidence Index increased this month, but recession concerns remain. Plus, Southwest Airlines ends its free checked bag policy. We'll have the details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look at Jesse James Days in Pineville, Missouri. In Consumer Watch this morning, the once hot housing market in places like Florida's Gulf Coast is now struggling. As Christian Benavides explains, a combination of factors is making it difficult for homeowners to sell.
Florida resident Darlene Strange has been trying to sell her mother's home in Fort Myers since November of last year.
Is it disheartening?
Yes, it is. It makes me wonder, is it ever going to happen? Here's the second bedroom.
Realtor Angie Ramos says at least 6 of the properties she has listed have been sitting on the market for far too long.
We've seen a lot of price reductions. Things are selling, but not as quickly as, as
one would want to.
In Southwest Florida, inventory's up. House prices are down year over year, and it's not the only market seeing a slowdown. It's an about face for regions that recently saw houses selling at record highs, particularly across Florida and Texas.
It was moving right along. I mean, like one thing after another. I mean, we were selling.
Cape Coral, Florida had the biggest price drop in April, year over year, followed by Northport, Florida, Austin, Texas, Tampa, and Lakeland, Florida. Still, high interest rates, skyrocketing home insurance, and elevated listing prices are among the reasons inventory isn't moving. Strange needs to sell this home to pay her mother's assisted living expenses.
How much longer can you afford to not sell this house?
Yeah, that's a problem. We're getting into the point where if something doesn't happen within the next year, it would be a scary situation.
While the spring buying season got off to a slow start, it's become a tale of two cities. In parts of the Midwest and Northeast, the housing market is still highly competitive, with home prices on the rise. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Myers, Florida.
Well, after 5 months of declines, the Conference Board's U.S. Consumer Confidence Index increased in May by 12.3 points, beating expectations. Although the Expectations Index, which measures how Americans feel about their near-term income, business, and job market prospects, rose to 72.8. Any number below 80 is a recession indicator. The White House said in a statement the consumer confidence reports reflects multiple solid inflation and job reports that Americans have seen under President Trump. The Coastal Companies is recalling 17 products sold under multiple brand names that may contain cucumbers from Bedner growers. The cucumbers have been linked to a new salmonella outbreak that has sickened at least 26 people in 15 states so far. The products include salsas sold under Giant Weiss, the top brands, as well as created fresh brand salads. Consumers are urged to keep a record of the products and throw them out immediately if found. And Southwest Airlines is ending its free checked bag policy today for many passengers. The budget-friendly carrier says it will charge passengers $35 for a first checked bag and $45 for a second. The loyalty program members, Business Select flyers, and certain credit card holders can still have their checked bags for free. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we've got that patchy fog to contend with out there through the morning, and we've got shower and thunderstorm chances returning later this evening. We'll go over those details with you and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Neosho Falls with Ridley Minor celebrating birthday number 10. Happy birthday.
And in Columbus, a happy 12th birthday to Conlin Epler.
And in Girard, Zoe Powell celebrating birthday number 12. It says love mom, dad, and the siblings.
And happy 13th birthday to Kara Kingman in Pittsburgh. It says love you so much, Yaya and Uncle.
And in Goodman, Cecily Kennedy celebrating birthday number 15 today. Happy birthday.
And in Iola, a happy 16th birthday to Ethan Sutterby. It says lots of love from Grandma and Grandpa.
And Shirley and Bud Rooney celebrating their 2nd anniversary in Chatopa. It says happy anniversary and love from your church family.
And a happy 47th anniversary to Keith and Marie Romick in Columbus.
And then we head to Jasper for Dale and Carlisle Flanagan celebrating their 60th anniversary. A very happy anniversary to you.
And happy birthday to Peggy Winter in St. Paul.
And our list continues with Cannon and Ava Lockmiller celebrating number 17 in Pittsburgh. They, of course, are twins. And a very happy birthday to you.
And a happy 61st birthday to Bertie Ward in Erie.
And in Pittsburgh, we got a long list here. Well, we got a list here from Pittsburgh. We got Teresa Mahan celebrating a birthday.
And in Pittsburgh, a happy birthday to Ross Pitts.
Also in Pittsburgh, Kathy Fagan celebrating another year wiser. Traditionally, the party is in the bus, but this time it's in the pit. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise, what should they do?
Yes, please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration as well.
Certainly important information, and of course, as always, I've got some important weather information for you. The first, we're starting with the fog. Iola, you have the most reduced visibility right now, still just below 2 miles. This includes parts of that 54 corridor from Iola through Yates Center, so it's something to keep in mind. Everybody except for Fort Scott and immediate surrounding areas have visibilities reduced to at least some degree. So you need to, again, slow down. Low beams out your high beams, fog lights if you have them. Leave distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. Be careful. Give yourself time to get where you're going. You know this whole list of things, but we just want to remind you so you're safe. And of course, with all the rain, all the moisture, all that water sitting out there, especially in the low-lying areas, you want to watch out for patchy dense fog where your visibilities may suddenly drop to nothing. So just be prepared for that. Now, thunderstorms. Yeah, unfortunately, we could see a strong storm or two. That's some of the good news, at least. Right now, we don't have any areas highlighted for the tornado or hail risk categories. We just have the wind risk for our western counties here, and it's the isolated. So it's the 1 out of 5 risk for that. So we're talking winds 50, 60 miles an hour possible with some stronger storms. Hopefully, of course, we don't want that to change. We don't want it to go up a notch or anything like that. It would be better if it went away, but we do have thunderstorms on the way as we roll into this afternoon, evening, overnight, and into our Thursday. So what are we looking at between here and there? Fog should be gone by about 8, 9 o'clock. Then we'll have mostly cloudy skies, maybe some partly cloudy skies at times as well, but we will remain dry. It won't be until about 4 or 5 we start to see some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder working into our northwestern counties. So by 5, we're talking just outside of Fort Scott, back towards Chanute, Fredonia, Yates Center, Howard, Sedan, Eureka. That's going to be the locations that we'll see some of these initial showers. Then they kind of build into this little blockade here along 54. The better chances, here we are at 9, for some of this rain to just be hanging out is going to be from the Kansas side of 54, from Fort Scott going back toward Yates Center and points west. Now, those storms will sit there for a minute or two. They don't necessarily rain all night in that one spot, but you'll regenerate storms until finally overnight tonight, after about midnight or so, we're anticipating a complex of storms off to our northwest that will begin to merge with the rain showers sitting over the 54 corridor and begin pushing them off to the south and east. So, between roughly midnight and 7 a.m. looks to be our best window. If we're going to see a strong storm or two, that's going to be the period in which we see it. So you can see by 5 a.m. those thunderstorms lined up along 69 and points to the west with some showers out ahead of that. By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, thunderstorms move to the east of the 49 corridor, and while there might be a strong storm or two, the chances for strong or even low-grade severe storms drop significantly by the time these things roll to the east. Then some of us by afternoon, late morning into the afternoon, may get a pause in the rain. You will not get a pause in the clouds, which is going to keep us cooler tomorrow, but you could get a pause in the rain before we see at least one more round of showers and maybe a rumble of thunder or two between, say 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. tomorrow. And then that should about wrap it up for us. We'll go into our Friday. We'll start with some partly cloudy skies. We'll go mostly clear through the day. We'll have a light north breeze, and temperatures, even though it's a north breeze, will warm up, getting us a lot closer to normal across the area. You can see the clouds. You can see the fog off in the distance, at least some light fog from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. And again, that'll stick around through 8, maybe 9 at the latest. 60 to start, mid-60s by 11 a.m. We have one more look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you keep streaming with us right here on KOAM Plus, we're going to hear how a new piece of technology is helping aerial firefighters put wildfires out faster than ever before.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Pittsburgh School District is expressing condolences and offering counseling following the death of student Jordan Baldwin in a car pedestrian accident. Jordan died yesterday from injuries suffered in a crash on 4th Street last week. The district says counseling and support are available. An arrest warrant has been issued for Rhonda Weiss, a Knoll, Missouri marshal. The charge of felony perjury follows an investigation by the Missouri State Highway Patrol revealing a discrepancy involving a fatal hit and run in Knoll. The discrepancy resulted in charges and an arrest of a suspect, but were later dropped. Wise is not currently in custody. And the Missouri and Kansas Highway Patrols released their reports on fatal crashes from Memorial Day weekend. In Kansas, troopers reported 7 fatalities from 4 crashes. In Missouri, the Highway Patrol reported a total of 3 people killed in crashes over the weekend. The counting period ran from 6 p.m. Friday until just before midnight Monday night. Let's check up today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, again, be aware of that patchy fog out there this morning. Otherwise, we will have mostly cloudy skies. A few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder start building in to our western counties by 4. Highs a little warmer, low to mid 70s. As we head into the evening, we will continue to see scattered storms initially along the 54 corridor, and then they'll be overspreading the area overnight tonight, and we'll fall back into the upper 50s. And a reminder, a couple of the storms tonight could be strong to low grade severe with some gusty winds, so something we'll certainly keep an eye on overnight tonight. Into tomorrow, more scattered showers and storms and clouds, which of course that therefore means we will be a wee bit cooler and only into the upper 60s. Friday looks fantastic. Saturday isn't bad, just some pop-up storms, but again, remember when thunder roars, head indoors. Otherwise, sunny skies, low to mid 80s out there. More showers Tuesday, and keeping an eye on thunderstorm chances by next Friday.
Alrighty. And coming up today at noon, we're making shrimp on the Barbie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Now, with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, he is very creative. I'm curious if he's going to use an actual Barbie.
I guess we'll just have to see.
We're going to have to find out, aren't we? Well, your morning news, of course, does continue on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Amy Spears joins us in the studio to talk about the annual Pioneer Days.
Plus, Lacey Nicholson and Megan Swafford also join us in the studio to talk about the Fostering Connections first annual 5K. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now here. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.